Heroes Forge, a Heroes of the Storm podcast.
Welcome, Forgers, to episode lucky number 13 of Heroes Forge, a community-driven podcast all about Heroes of the Storm. This is your host, Jeff Reynolds, and as always, I'm joined by the co-host of the show, Kristen Ashton. Hi, Kristen.
Hi, Jeff. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing wonderfully, as always.
That's good. Yeah, we were just talking about how it's so nice that it's spring, the weather is so nice outside, and we're recording the show and it's actually light outside in California on the West Coast. So it's a different world.
It is, and it feels nice, too. We've had the windows open.
Ooh.
Windows have been open, Jeff, but it's been months of cold, and there's nothing like the spring thaw when you finally get to enjoy the cool breeze wafting through the air on a sunny, lazy Sunday.
I know, I agree, especially on an Easter Sunday like today. So happy Easter to everyone out there that's listening to the show today. And if you're listening to it at a later date, today is Easter and it's awesome. So we're glad you're here. Great, yeah. I know some of our friends on the East Coast are probably not having the windows open quite yet. I know some people, it's still pretty cold over there.
Oh, I'm sure. And in the Midwest as well, I hear it's still snowing a bit. So good luck to them. It's almost done, guys.
It's almost done. I've been over there on that. I lived in New York for a while, and it gets cold for a long time.
Yep,
so I know the feels.
Yep, start to forget the sun ever even existed.
That's right. My sister actually lives in Alaska for parts of the year, and talk about forget about what the sun looks like. I mean, they really have short days or super long days up there.
No, wait, so what does she do up in Alaska where she only goes up part of the year?
Yeah, her husband is a pilot, and he pilots planes for like port adventures for cruise ships.
Yeah.
So it runs seasonally, and sometimes they have to go up there in the off season to kind of get ready for it. And she says it's really, really weird, and it plays with your mind.
Oh, I'm sure. But all the same, I've heard Alaska is breathtaking.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, and he like proposed to her on a glacier and everything. It was great. Anyway, this is completely off topic talking about my sister, who doesn't play video games at all, but I'll tell you what, I do. And there have been some awesome games to actually watch over the last couple of weeks. We always, over the weeks, talk about the awesome things that are happening in Heroes, and one of them, again, is Heroes of the Dorm. Have you caught any of the games?
I did. I caught one of the games. I forget who played, but they had Cho'Gall on the Punisher map.
Oh,
and they were wrecking the poor other team.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Cho'Gall has been out there a lot. I've seen a lot of Murky, too, in Heroes of the Dorm.
Yes, which has been wonderful, of course. But, of course, I'm not surprised, though, because I think college students, more than any other students, would be more than willing to play Murky.
Yeah, it's got everything about college wrapped into it. You know, it's annoying, it's silly, it's fun.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's worked out for them a lot of the time. I mean, Murky's worked out a lot, and we've seen a lot of comps. You know, I've seen some games, I believe it was a UCI game where they played, and they did a Leoric Murky combo where people were just, you know, respawning all the time and out on the battlefield all the time, and it's a different way of playing, but we've seen that from a lot of teams.
We have. We saw that from Cloud9 not too long ago, about half a year ago, when they did the Tassadar, Murky, Leoric, and
it's
I think
like the
Tara was another one on there. But
yeah, it's like the unkillable killable comp. I mean, you can kill them, but
they're just going to keep coming back, and they don't care how many times they die, because guess what? Murky's death only counts for a quarter of a hero, and once he gets his immortality build, what I like to call it, you kind of can't kill him.
I know.
It's pretty hard.
It's fun. I need to hop on Murky and play him more because it looked really cool. And then, you know, the Epic 8 is out, and they're going to be battling off and coming up in all these games, and then the finals are in a couple weeks. You're still stoked to go to the finals up there?
I'm absolutely excited. We are very, very ready to do this. I'm thinking maybe I'll get some colored face paint, although now that the golden Mishas are out, they were out. They came back in because of the Harvard cheating scandal, and then they got knocked out. So, sorry, Golden Mishas. But I'm thinking the other team I thought that was going to make it to the finals was Arlington. So I think I'll switch over to Arlington then and give them some cheers.
Yeah, it'll just be fun to be there with like-minded people. It'll feel like a mini BlizzCon. I'm so jealous that you're going, but I'm looking to try to get a bar or a pub around Southern California in the OC area, and if I find somebody that can do all that, I'm going to put up a post and we're going to meet up there if you're in the OC area there, because that would be a lot of fun too. So lots of really fun stuff linked to Heroes of the Dorm, which is really, really cool. But Heroes in general is getting a massive patch, and it has bans.
Yes, it has bans, and bans have been tried, and they're cool.
Yeah, I played a little bit on the PTR just because I wanted to see what they looked like, and we don't really talk about news on the show, but I'll tell you what, it feels, and I read a lot about this on Reddit and people talking about it where they're saying, it finally is starting to feel like a finished game.
Yeah.
Which it looks like a finished game now. I mean, the animations inside of the hero picks and all of that kind of stuff is just, it's top notch now. It's starting to look really, really good.
Yeah, it looks polished, it looks clean. I mean, and even the new draft screen is incredible. Now, I know we all giggled when they showed the preview draft screen and it was Butcher banned because no one really takes Butcher into Hero League.
That's right.
But it's still really, really cool. It makes you feel like you're a pro when your hero comes up. Butcher.
Oh, yeah.
Destroyer. And you're like, yeah, I can do this. Maybe.
And I'm really curious because, as all the listeners know, I play in the Bronze League, so I play down at the bottom there. I'm curious how that's all going to play out with the ban system. I know that they're going to pick the highest MMR player in the group to be able to choose who is banned. And I'm just curious. I'm really excited to see how that Bronze community takes it.
Certainly, and it will be an interesting psychological experiment as well, because before, we didn't know who in the group had the highest MMR. Sure, there are different rankings, but ranking doesn't tell you MMR. But this will literally point to the one person on the team who's the highest.
Yeah,
So
which is going to,
if it will empower them or not.
yeah, exactly. And it's gonna also give the team kind of an idea of who might be a good shot caller, because that person has the highest MMR. I mean, that's not necessarily related, especially in the Bronze League, but it'll be awesome. And they're looking at a whole bunch of different changes. I know Dustin Browder was tweeting about completely revamping the whole questing system, which, I mean, that just shows how creative those people are, because I don't know how they're going to change that, but I know when they do, I'm going to look at it and say, whoa, that was great. What a great idea.
Well, also remember, too, that's because we're a bit more positive here, and we're excited to try new things. I think when these things drop, there will be a lot of complaining in the community because it's new. It's something you're going to have to get used to, and people aren't going to like to give up their alphaness in the group to whoever has the highest MMR, that kind of stuff. But in the end, the choices the Heroes team has made in creating the game have proven to be great choices. And if they happen to make a mistake, the few that have been made, they renege it.
Right. And I couldn't agree more with everything you just said. It's always an exciting time to be a Heroes fan. Like we talk about every single week, but there are other games out there. I know I'm still playing The Division, and I can't talk enough about how fun it is to play with other people, and it's getting to that point where it's really getting hard and competitive and really fun. Are you playing any other games now, Kristen?
Yes, I just started BioShock 2 and Alan Wake, and both have been great starts so far.
Yeah, I love Alan Wake. I had a really fun time playing Alan Wake with my friends. They would all come over. It was in college, I believe. They would all come over to my house, and we would just turn all the lights off and just turn the sound up really high. And, of course, there were adult beverages involved. So,
well, how else are you going to get through those games? I'm certainly not doing it without an adult beverage.
So it was a blast. Those are two really solid games. And there's tons of games on the horizon too that are coming out that are going to be great. Overwatch being one of them, obviously. I'm really ecstatic that the world will get to play that game finally, because I know there's a bunch of people out there that haven't had the opportunity to play it while it's in the beta yet, and I know they're opening the beta up to the people that pre-order it, and it's just going to be an awesome game. I think it's going to do really well.
Well, of course, no doubt. If Blizzard has mastered one thing, that is teasing the community until they're ready to pop. So they get as many people as they can excited for the game, revved up, and as soon as they release it, everybody gets it. You gotta get it. I mean, everyone's been talking about it for years now, not even months, years.
Yeah, they're building up the anticipation, and they're building the lore behind it too, with the new animated shorts that are coming out and everything. And I'm excited for Overwatch.
Yep, and the new skins they released for the heroes too. If you haven't checked those out, check those out.
Yeah, and they're building in a great loot system and leveling up system and achievements now, and the game's getting patches, and that game is looking like a real game now, and I'm just really excited for that. Are there any other games you're really looking forward to playing that are coming out or haven't come out yet?
I'm trying to think here. Not off the top of my head. I kind of like what I have right now, and since I haven't played many of the older games, those games I consider new games. So Alan Wake, for instance, and BioShock 2, and then Doom 3.
Yeah, and then you got to move on to BioShock, what is it called? Infinite?
I've seen, Yep, I've watched that one, so I know that one.
Oh, it's good.
Yes.
It's all good. Tons of great games out there. So let's talk about the game that we're here to talk about, which is Heroes of the Storm. Welcome to the show. If this is your first time listening, you're awesome. Thanks for being here. I'm glad that you're here, and this works just like you think it would. What we're going to do is we're going to pick some heroes from the Blizzard universe and imagine what they would be like if they were in Heroes of the Storm. It's a blast. We go through the whole kit. Kristen builds a build, I build a build, and we kind of just brainstorm and theory craft together about all of that stuff. So without further ado, let's forge.
Let's forge.
All right, this is the fun part here where Kristen is going to tell us who are we forging this week on the show.
Well, Jeff, as you requested, this week we are forging Valeera Sanguinar.
Ooh, Valeera from the World of Warcraft / Warcraft universe. Awesome character, tons that we can do with Valeera. So why don't you give us a little bit of a rundown of Valeera and her place in that universe?
Most certainly. Valeera Sanguinar was born into an unfortunate life. Parents killed when she was only a child, sold to Rhaegar to compete as a gladiator, cursed with the mark of Catherine the Tear. Valeera has led a tough life. Even so, she has used her cunning to effect positive changes in the world. As a gladiator, she befriended Roll Bearmantle and Varian Wrynn, king of Stormwind, eventually helping the king get back home and save his son from the clutches of Onyxia. Following this, Valeera worked toward peace between the Alliance and the Horde. Later on, while possessed by Catherine the Tear, she managed to defeat Cho'Gall to save her friends. Luckily, one of these friends was then able to take the burden of containing the Dreadlord, freeing Valeera of the curse. Nowadays, Valeera is a member of the Uncrowned, an order of rogues headquartered in the Dalaran sewers. She pledges allegiance to neither Horde nor Alliance, as both have abandoned her to her own fate. But on days off, it is rumored she can be found at a certain inn playing a certain card game.
So great. And, she does, a lot of people recognize her from Hearthstone, because that's, the rogue character in Hearthstone is Valeera. That's actually how I kind of remembered her vaguely from the World of Warcraft universe and mostly the comics. I know she's played a huge part in the comics, and I've read some of those, and I remember her from that, but it's mainly from Hearthstone that spurred that memory.
Certainly, and who can not connect Valeera when she gets called into the battlefield? It's great, and that was the first time I ever ran into her as a character as well.
Yeah, and I can't think of another character that would be awesome in Heroes. It's maybe not the right time for the game to have Valeera in the game, because maybe some of the things I was thinking of probably wouldn't help the game grow as it is now, but definitely in the future, and we'll get into a little bit more about my thoughts on that. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about Valeera and what we think. So the first thing that we talk about is, what do you think the role classification for Valeera would be if she was in Heroes of the Storm?
I'd have to go hands down assassin, because I play a rogue in World of Warcraft. So Valeera, her role is near and dear to my heart, and I cannot abide a rogue not being an assassin.
Yeah, I have to agree. Assassin for sure. And you definitely have a hand up on me because you play an assassin in Warcraft. Over the last week, I've been watching videos on like how to correctly play an assassin in World of Warcraft and all this stuff, because I want to have the feel, you know, because she is an assassin in World of Warcraft, and it's a specialty class, really. I mean, there's a certain way to play it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, just like every class. It has its little quirks, its little understandings that all rogues share.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. I played a hunter a whole bunch, and so it's completely different than playing a hunter, an assassin is. So this will be really cool, and maybe you can give a little bit of insight on my build to try to make it better to feel more like an assassin, because that's really what I want, is this assassin feel. So the next thing we talk about is the hero's trait. So for my assassin version of Valeera, I was thinking she'd have a trait called addiction. And being a rogue gladiator, Valeera is a master of stealth and assassination. Valeera's addiction to magic is also a large part of her gameplay. In the Nexus, she is a fast attacking stealth hero, and her trait allows her to injure her opponents in a different way. Each time she lands a successful stealth attack on an enemy hero, she drains a small portion of that target's mana. This makes Valeera a high skill cap hero that is taking against mana-driven teams and causes the player to choose the correct targets to drain mana from. If the enemy hero attack does not have a mana pool, there is no additional effect to her attack.
I like that. So, for instance, Sonya wouldn't work.
Right, or like Vala uses hatred, right, instead of mana.
Gotcha, so strictly mana. That's amazing.
Yeah, so this is part of what I was, two things here. Part of what I was thinking about how she probably wouldn't be healthy for the game right now in my eyes. One, because she's a stealth hero, and there are already two pretty strong stealth heroes in Heroes of the Storm, and we know that it could be frustrating to play against a stealth hero.
We know it won't be complete until there can be a five-member stealth team.
A 5-member stealth team. That, oh gosh, I can't imagine something more frustrating. Maybe some of the builds we've built before, but a 5-man stealth team would be pretty crazy. But I was thinking that, you know, Zeratul basically melee assassin going in there and, you know, doing his damage over time with one of his attacks and cleaving for his other attack that just, you know, wrecks people. And Nova's ranged assassin, so she can kind of poke at you, and they're all focused basically on health and taking your health down. So I thought, how would we make Valeera different? And it kind of works out because she has that blood elf thirst for magic, that, you know, she has an undying thirst for it. So I wanted to kind of implement that into my build.
Definitely. Now, does she have mana? So would it go into her own mana pool, or is it just something she would steal away from other heroes?
She has mana, but it doesn't go into her mana pool.
Okay, fair enough.
Mm-hmm. I didn't want to make it too OP.
Not yet. We've got the heroics to get to.
We've got the heroics. And, you know, yeah. We'll get to it. I think there's a whole lot to talk about, including your trait. What were you thinking was Valeera's assassin trait on your side?
Well, her trait, I was thinking fast fingers. Trained in a lifetime of thievery, Valeera knows how to do what she wants without being detected. If enemy heroes have chosen stackable abilities, such as seasoned marksman, hungry for more, bribe, etc., she can activate this trait to steal 1 stack off of the enemy's total and give the bonus to herself. If not applicable, Valeera has a permanent attack speed bonus.
Whoa. So first off, you're thinking she's going to be fast attacking.
Correct. I was thinking pickpocket, because one of the most relaxing things to do as a rogue is to walk into some heavily fortified enemy stronghold, stealth, and then just pick their pockets the whole time. Sometimes you'll find some dirty novels, sometimes an empty wallet, and yeah, it's a good time.
It's great. Okay, so when you talk about stacks and stealing them, you're gaining the benefit from stealing them?
Correct.
Okay, so something like Leoric's regeneration globe steal, you would gain the effect of that in some way.
Correct. I mean, in order to get the full effect of it would still follow the same rules as it does for all of the heroes. So in order to get maximum effectiveness, you'd need to have maximum stacks. So it would therefore benefit Valeera to continually target the one hero with the stackable ability or stackable talent.
That's a high skill cap thing right there. Being able to choose, you got to, press tab right when you get in, see who you're playing against, and you're going to be like, oh, okay, well, that thrall, I want to steal his stacks or whatever it might be.
Yeah, and two, the other team would then be forced to decide, do they want to deal with her attack speed, or does one of the heroes just want to bite the bullet and give her stacks to steal?
Wow. That's great. I really, really like that. So two really high skill cap kind of thoughts going on here, because in my build you of course wouldn't pick Valeera against a team that had a whole bunch of non-mana users.
Yeah.
So you really have to it's a specialized pick. You have to pick it if you're going up against a mana driven team.
Certainly, and in that case she wouldn't be a first pick assassin either.
Exactly. No, you wouldn't first pick. Well, in the Bronze League maybe.
First pick Nova, baby.
That's right.
Nova.
First pick Novas. I'm going to ban that so fast, it's not even funny. But that's assuming I ever get to play in a group where I have the highest MMO.
Who knows, man? You will find out. We will all find out where we stand once they get this ban put into the actual game.
I am going to screenshot it instantly if I get to pick the bans.
You should.
Great. Moving on to really cool, distinct traits for Valeera and two, I'm sure, completely different builds to come. So let's go ahead and talk about her mount. I said that she would have a normal mount. She'd ride, all the mounts that are in the game. And when she released, if she was to have a specialty mount that came along with it, I think the game definitely needs a riding raptor. And I think Valeera would be great.
Yeah, I would agree. I actually leveled my reputation up with the trolls because I wanted a raptor mount.
Yeah, the raptor is so cool, and I'm thinking that when she summons the raptor, maybe she could say something like "clever girl."
Oh, I like it.
And just thinking about rogues and stalking in the shadows, I think of raptors. I think of those. I think of Jurassic Park, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think of those raptors just, stalking and waiting in the shadows. What were you thinking?
I was thinking something called Cloak of Shadows, where fog surrounds Valeera, disguising exactly where she is as she quickly heads to the next destination. However, and she would move mount speed in this. However, in reality, this fog is very obvious and targetable, just like a regular mount. While in it, Valeera assumes if she can't see the enemy, they can't see her.
Great. That's cool, and it's different. I think it's really, really neat. So that's her only mount choice then?
I think she could ride regular mounts if she wanted to, but I just thought it would be way too funny if we gave her just a little tick. She thought she was so cool because, she's a rogue. She is cool already, so why not? Why not hide her in some very obvious fog?
I love it, and I think it'd be great if you could select that mount as a different hero.
Oh, that'd be hilarious. Could you imagine Diablo? His tail and horns are sticking out, but he's like, oh, no one can see me. I'm super stealth right now.
That's great. I love it. Super cool. Let's get into basic abilities here for both of our Valeera builds. What were you thinking for her first basic ability?
First basic ability, I'm going with Poison Blade. Valeera quickly applies a deadly coat of poison to her two blades, dealing additional poison damage to any enemy the blades touch.
Perfect. Fits the lore perfectly. And that's in Warcraft, right? You can have poison blades that do damage over time.
Correct. You coat your blades in, you can have up to 2 poisons, and those last for 60 minutes. Since games don't necessarily go for 60 minutes in Heroes, I thought a shorter time might be preferred.
Right.
And then also, I really liked in Hearthstone how you can apply the poison to the daggers.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like that in Hearthstone. Yeah, because there's a specific card that allows you to apply poison to your dagger that gives it a benefit to damage. So that's great. I love it. So is your damage from your poison blades direct, or is it damage over time?
Since it's poison, it would be damage over time.
Great. Cool. That fits the lore perfectly. My first basic ability I called Fellblade. So Valeera's blood elf addiction to magic has clearly both helped her and hindered her during her life in Azeroth. The addiction was passed along from her mother, and she finds it in the Nexus as well. When this ability is activated, she throws one of her poison daggers at a target. If this dagger hits an enemy hero, that hero loses a significant amount of mana, and it is fed back to Valeera, making her stealth again.
Oh, nice! So you're still incorporating that mana drain.
Yeah, mana drain here, but I shouldn't have written that it feeds back to her. The way that it feeds back to her is the ability for her to become stealth again. So she's stealth, she's walking around, maybe she does a first basic attack to do the initial mana drain, and then she throws her Fellblade at the enemy hero, and that drains a significant amount of mana, and then she's stealth again.
Gotcha.
Of course, it would take a little bit of practice, because you'd want to get out. You'd want to, because even if you're stealth, they know where you are. So they're going to hit you, and hopefully they have less mana in order to try to hit you again.
Oh, man, and could you imagine how wonderful that would be to do 2 healers?
Oh yeah.
They'd be so angry. They would hate Valeera so much.
Yeah, so really it's like a support counter.
Yeah, 100%, because I don't think there's a support that doesn't have mana. What does Karzim use? Karzim.
He uses mana.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, so it's the same. Yeah, because he has the one trait at the beginning you can take that returns mana to you.
There we go. Yeah.
So yeah. So maybe not as rare of a pick, because if you're playing in a team, you hopefully have a healer.
Yes. Who can keep their mana up high enough to heal the team, but if they can't, and that would be deadly at the beginning of the game when healer mana is already kind of low. It hasn't really gotten a chance to amp up quite yet.
Yeah, and you drop down on a Lieutenant Morales, and they're in trouble, because there's not a whole lot they could do, especially if they weren't able to use their grenade because they didn't have enough mana or they were going in. So it's a cool thing. A cool thought, at least. So my second basic ability I called Achilles' Heel. And what would a rogue be without a backstab move?
Not a rogue at all, if you ask me.
So Valeera is an agile rogue and a gladiator champion. This shows in her battle style and abilities in Heroes of the Storm. When this ability is used, she jumps up over the enemy, kind of like Illidan kind of feel, maybe doing like a aerial flip, like a cartwheel with no hands, stabbing them in the back. This causes them to have a reduced movement speed, and it also deals damage. This move will take Valeera out of stealth, like you would assume, but it will count for her attack on her trait and also drain a small amount of mana from the hero hit if she's coming from stealth.
Nice.
So it falls under her basic ability, or her basic trait in my mind.
Certainly.
So it's a repositioning tool, and jumping over. It's got a whole lot of Illidan feel to it, I imagine.
Yeah, and I would completely agree that a rogue hero in Heroes of the Storm would play very similarly to Illidan.
Yeah, it'd have to have, because you gotta have that agile feel, right?
Exactly. They move around.
Tough.
That's part of what they are. They're constantly moving. They're constantly hitting, even though they're tiny little waifs of things.
Yeah, well, dangerous tiny little wastes of things, I think. What were you thinking for her W?
I was thinking Vanish. So we're going into the move. I like how our abilities are lining up here. All right, so this one is Vanish. In true rogue fashion, when the going gets tough, the rogues get going. For a short period, for a short period of time, Valeera gains increased movement speed and goes invisible, undetectable even when a reveal hero ability is activated, i.e. Tassadar's Oracle.
Dangerous. I love it.
Yep, I mean, I don't know how many times in dungeons being able to vanish has helped me, because if something wipes, so if Kyle and I are playing and he wipes and sees the healer, I can just vanish and stay alive and wait for him to come back.
Oh, it's so great. It's got the perfect feel to it. And just imagine how, again, frustrating it would be if you were, say, Butcher or somebody and your opponent just up and vanished.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Like a master at stealth. That's just so great. I absolutely love that. Super cool. 2 different builds, but similar thoughts here. It's great. What were you thinking for her last basic ability?
For the last one, we're going with Kidney Shot. And Valeera isn't above cheap tricks to win a fight. Quickly, Valeera one-shots the target enemy in the kidney, or whatever the kidney is that they have, stunning them for a short period of time. During this time, they take extra damage from all basic attacks, not just from her, but from her team as well.
Oh, so this is a debuff for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, great. So making them vulnerable to basic attacks.
Correct. And then, of course, that would be a great starting move, because you get in, slow them down, make them take extra damage, boop, 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 maybe get them with the poison daggers, and then vanish out of there.
Oh, the combo wombo. I love it. That sounds so great. Oh, I'm just imagining. Oh, yeah. It's again, it's a whole nother, if you're on the same communication level with your team, the crazy amount of combos you can do with characters like your build and characters that exist in the game already, like anyone that stuns, really, or if you have Kerrigan, or that's basically a shot caller in a way, your Valeera, where you come up and you go, this is the person we're going to try to take out right now. Then you're out of there. You move on to something else and you pick somebody else and you kind of just shot call your way all the way through the battle.
Yeah.
Love it. So cool. My E is called Up in Smoke. Stealth is not the only trait that helps Valeera in the Nexus. Her speed in combat is also accomplished with her amazing ability to disappear. Oh, great minds. When this ability is used, Valeera disappears in a cloud of smoke and immediately becomes stealth. She is invulnerable for a very short amount of time, giving her time to quickly reposition and get ready for the next attack. This also will give her the ability to use her trait again, and the player has the ability to drain mana from a target again, as long as she is not discovered during the stealth before she lands an attack on an enemy hero.
I love it. It feels so roguish. It really does. Up
Good.
in smoke. Yes. 100% clouds of smoke.
These are very similar ideas, and I think this is what it would have to be if it was Valeera or any rogue from Warcraft coming into the game. There's a definite through line, and I mean, talk a little bit. Do you know what kind of build do you use when you build your rogue in Warcraft? Do you go with like the assassinate build?
I built myself as a combat rogue, so there's a lot of sinister striking. There's a lot of slice and dice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and usually I'll stealth somebody and then I'll use a garrote to start off.
Oh, that's
the
great.
attack.
So yeah, that stuff would have to come over to Heroes if it was used,
Yeah.
That stuff is great. Okay. Really, really cool stuff. We're about to get into the best part, forging the heroics, which are so fun because we can try to make them a little OP sometimes. Just imagine the fun, cool things that would affect the game. But before we get into that, I really, really want to reach out and thank everyone that's given us a 5-star review on iTunes. It has been awesome to have the great support from you all. If you haven't yet given us a rating, jump on over to iTunes. It really helps the show. Make sure you leave a little note so that we can give you a shout out on the show for your awesome review and support. So thank you so much to everyone that's done that. And also head over to our Patreon page if you'd like to support the show. We have some awesome obtainable goals over there. We've kind of finagled it a little bit to bring you more content. So just head over there and check it out if you'd like to to support the show. And with that being said, let's get into the best part of the show. Let's forge the heroics.
Heroic.
All right, Kristen, you're up first. What is the first heroic thought that you had for your build of Valeera?
All right, the first heroic thought, we're going with Unleash the Beast. Seeing no way out, Valeera unleashes the power of Kathra Nadir. Now in the form of a powerful dreadlord, Valeera gains a vampiric aura. With this aura in effect, she and all nearby friendly units and heroes gain health each time they do damage to an enemy unit or hero. Once during this heroic's usage, she can call down an infernal that briefly stuns and does damage to nearby enemies when it lands. Once the infernal is up, it becomes a targetable unit, much like Jaina's Water Elemental or Raynor's Banshees.
Awesome. The game needs an infernal.
Yeah, I love infernals.
They're just cool.
Yeah,
their models are...
The power of being able to call one down and explodes and...
Oh, yeah, and that fits her lore really well. Really, really well. This is the fun part about the heroics, because in Heroes, the heroics are the ones that change the look of the game the most. You know, something crazy happens, lights start shining, you know, the mosh pit comes in, or, you know, Tyrael comes and sanctifies it. It just changes the whole thing. And so this is really going to change the landscape if this infernal is just raining down on it.
And it's just the one, though. It's just the one. But I also like the idea that you can control it, too. And it would fall apart once the heroic is done.
Right. And then maybe you could spec into it to have 2.
Yeah, or 5 or 10. Map wide. You know, just a full map cover. That's level 20.
That's level 20. Full map covered in... That's great. I love it. Super cool. Mine is very similar to your idea. Her first heroic is called Vendalin's Curse. Along her journeys in Azeroth, Valeera was once cursed by Vendalin's Soulfire. Same thing that you're talking about. This curse allowed a magic-craving demon to live inside of her and give her an unbelievable power. When this heroic is used, Valeera channels this possession, and it drives her to have an unbelievable attack speed, kind of like if she was on a stim drone.
Oh, ouch.
This transformation also increases the amount and duration of all of her mana-draining abilities, including her trait. She does not lose her ability to go stealth during this transformation, and it lasts for a short amount of time.
Oh, could you imagine draining all enemy heroes of their mana during this? Because I can.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm thinking... That would be different in a team fight to kind of have to think that way. And one of the things when I took a lesson with Kyle that I realized I wasn't doing at all at the beginning was looking at the enemy or even friendly heroes' mana bars. I wasn't even looking at them. And how much that helps you if you are looking at them to know what they can do, if you're kind of keeping stock of the abilities that they've used in your head, thinking about everything that could be coming at you or can't be coming at you is huge. So if you were playing this build of Valeera, you'd have to really focus on who to drain, what they've used. You know, you're looking at an Uther and he's got half of his mana bar and you're thinking, well, he could cast Divine Shield right now, so I should probably drain health from him. Okay, he's low enough. So, I mean, it would just add a whole nother level to play.
Certainly, and that brings up a great point. Your Valeera build would really force somebody to choose in the moment, do they want to attack the health or do they want to attack the mana? And that alone is a game changer if you know what you're doing and when you should be doing it.
Right. Which, you know, for someone that plays like me, it would be hard. It'd be a lot of practice to have to do that. And it obviously only fits, again, in certain comps. And I'm imagining, you know, when Heroes is down the line and there are 200 heroes to choose from, you know, maybe Valeera is one that can be incorporated more easily.
I think she would, yeah, because as we've talked about, all of the healers have mana. So even if the enemy team itself isn't a full mana CC build, there's the healer. And taking down the healer is so important, especially if you have a hero that can get in and get out.
Yeah. And that's what I think we've both done is get in, get out, quick feel, like the rogue feel.
Yep. I mean, one punch and we're dead is basically how it
Oh,
goes.
yeah. No, squishy, I'm thinking real squishy
Yeah.
for these builds because, you're powerful, but you get taken out quickly.
Yeah, and I mean, Zeratul and, of course, Kerrigan definitely play to that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's great. My second heroic is called Are You Not Entertained?
Yes!
And I get that basically because all in the comics and stuff, I was doing my research again to a lot of her timeline in the universe. She spends as a gladiator fighting in arenas, and she eventually becomes the winner with the team, and then she gets her own team, and she's a gladiator leader. And gladiator battles are team fights, and each member of a successful team is connected to each other. When this ability is activated, Valeera creates a cloud of smoke that when friendly heroes enter it, it makes them stealth for a short amount of time or until they take damage.
Oh, no, so it's a stationary cloud of smoke that they can run into stealth and then run out of stealth?
Well, they run into it and then they are stealthed for either until the duration ends or they take damage, like if you were a stealth hero in the game now. So if Nova gets hit by an attack, she unstealths.
Yes.
That would be the same thing for all these heroes. So can you imagine? At the beginning, I was thinking, oh, wait till Kristen hears one of my heroics when you were talking about a whole 5-man stealth team.
Oh, there we go. Yes, so she would want to cast this cloud on the enemy team. So then your team runs in, and the enemy team is like, but where? Oh,
yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Or like, let's go take the boss. Okay, I'm going to drop my Are You Not Entertained? You guys run through it. So everybody runs through the cloud, and then the enemy team can't see you moving up to take the boss because they're all stealth.
Yeah, I like that. And that's especially important if the enemy team has map control. Because, if you're running up to take boss and you're running right up the middle, you're going to run into the minions making their way across the map.
Yeah, and it might be a counter to all the creep that Zagara would lay down. You could kind of counter that and say, well, you've got all your creep laid down, well, we're just going to walk right over it and you won't even know.
Yeah, that would be really nice.
Which, again, maybe OP, but fun to think about. What were you thinking about her second heroic?
I was thinking, can't touch this. And like a rogue's killing spree, Valeera deals massive amounts of damage in quick succession to all heroes within the heroics area of effect, which is centered on her. And this is because physically what we see is Valeera jumping onto a target hero's shoulders and dealing damage, basically like punching them in the head for a little bit, right? And then while here, she can control where the enemy runs to. Activated again, Valeera jumps to another target to do the same thing. Once time is up, she reappears where she first activated this ability, no matter how far away it is.
Whoa.
So repositioning, I think that would be incredible. Maybe not too roguish. Rogues don't really reposition people, but for this one, she would.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm picturing Legolas.
Yes.
Like jumping up on trolls and stuff, and kind of she's got both their poison daggers, and she's just sticking in just hitting the Diablo right in the back of the neck with the things, just and then jumping over to the Murky.
Yes,
and then
and that would be hilarious.
Anything with Murky is hilarious.
Yes,
I think that's
And sorry, what I was going to say is something that would be challenging here would be you're controlling the enemy hero, because like Lily's water dragon, there would have to be some parameters as to which hero Valeera would go to next, right? Would it be the hero that's furthest out of this area effect? Would it be the one that's closest to her?
Ooh.
So.
Wow, what a great idea. How cool is that? Oh, and that would feel really cool to be in the game and to be able to jump from hero to hero to try to, do damage as you go.
Yes.
So cool. Great. 2 awesome heroics on both sides. Those are the fun OP parts sometime, but totally great. The last part is the most fun, is we talk about what kind of specialty skin we would like to see this hero have if it was in the game. This is where Blizzard usually goes crazy with the, really weird stuff in the game. And I want to hear yours, Kristen. What is your specialty skin for Valeera?
Valeera, we're going with Wonder Valeera. Only binding up this deadly hero will render her harmless. Wonder Valeera comes complete with the golden tiara, eagled chest piece, starred underoos, and awesome bracers.
Oh, gosh. Oh, man, that is so great. Oh, that's so good. My specialty skin on my side was a Black Widow skin.
Oh, yeah.
So Black Widow from the Avengers team. And the daggers would change into those rods that Black Widow uses.
Yes.
And then the animation for mana drain would be like a lightning, like electricity that drains enemy heroes' mana.
Dude, that's perfect. That fits your build 100%.
Yeah, and she jumps around and everything, so that was my thought.
She does, man. That nails. That skin basically sums up your build perfectly. I think that might have to be her master skin, actually.
The Black Widow skin for Valeera. And then obviously it would have, themed lines from the Avengers and all that kind of stuff.
And would she ride a motorcycle?
That'd be so cool, right?
I think she'd have to have a motorcycle for that one.
Yeah, because you know how when you buy Space Lord Leoric, you get the motorcycle and stuff, but it would be like a modern-looking motorcycle.
Yeah, it would have to be, wouldn't it? It would have to be one of those sleek racing motorcycles.
Yeah, like in Age of Ultron.
Yes.
That'd be really, really cool. I love it. These are great ideas. I think we can definitely say that this hero was forged.
HeroesForge.
I think if anything, we have definitely embodied the feel of the rogue, with on your build, the poison blades, the quick moving, assassin type of character that can jump from hero to hero even and do damage to them. And then obviously over here on my build, kind of the backstory of Valeera with draining mana and her mana hungry blood elf background and all of that. I feel I've seen a couple of forums that say that they want Valeera in the game, and I feel like she's definitely doable.
Yeah, well, I would think she would be, because all you'd need to do is basically take the rogue from World of Warcraft, put a Valeera skin on it, and then mess with some abilities. And of course, with what we've seen with Illidan, they know how to do the quick flippy movements, no problem. So executing something like what you have with her flipping around, stealing some mana, and then running away, that'd be no problem.
We say, as we sit over here and just do our podcast, those people have a lot of work to do if they were to do it. But I totally understand what you're saying. It would. These games translate so well into each other. I think that's part of the success of Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah, entirely. And it works too because visually it all fits together, right? Blizzard has a very unique artistic style, which I think will be interesting once they start introducing Overwatch heroes into the game. Because Overwatch visually is a little different. It's still got the cartoon thing going, but...
Yeah, I agree. I'm curious to see. And, the tracer models and everything that they're coming out with for the game, she does look a little different. And even the Diablo characters, they had to do a little bit of tweaking with the way that they look in order to make them fit in the Nexus.
That they did. And I think I'd say they look cooler than they do in Diablo. I love Diablo, but Sonya, she looks so good in Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah, she does look really good. In Diablo, they're looking more like, dark and shadowy, and, that game's got a whole lot more going on at some points, and so there's definitely some differences in it. But yeah, Valeera would be awesome in Heroes of the Storm. Maybe not right now. Maybe we don't need another stealth hero to pick from, but who knows? Maybe when there's 200 heroes, 3 years from now, Valeera would be on the top of their list to forge. And that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you so much for listening to the show. We have a whole bunch of places that you can catch us to get information on the show, what we're doing, and how we're doing it. And the first and foremost place is our website, which is HeroesForge.club. Over on the website, we post all of the episodes, the video on-demand files of everything that we've done, that we've streamed on Twitch. And that was HeroesForge.club. And we do stream on Twitch every Sunday night at 7 p.m. Pacific time. And the web address for that is twitch.tv/HeroesForge. Make sure that you follow us over on Twitter, which is @ForgeHeroes. Over there, we announce at the end of the week who we're going to be forging on this Sunday, so it gives you a little sneak peek. Also, we talk a little bit in back and forth with all the community members that do listen to the show. So if you have any ideas that you want to send us your way, you can send it to us on our Twitter, or you can email them to us at contactheroesforge@gmail.com. Once a month, we do a specialty show where we take a build from a listener and we build off of it, and it's called the Forger Spotlight. Last week, we did a Forger Spotlight with Deckard Cain by one of our listeners that sent it in, and it was a blast. So we want your submissions. It doesn't have to be a full build. You can just send us ideas over, and we'll go off of that. We want all the community to be involved in everything that we do. So send us your ideas. Contact HeroesForge@gmail.com. Of course, we're on YouTube as well at youtube.com/HeroesForge, and you can download the show on iTunes or your favorite podcasting app as well. The live recording usually goes up right after the show records, so you can catch it on Monday morning on your long drive to work. Maybe it'll make it a little less painful. Kristen, where can people find you on the interwebs?
They can find me at Dream Destroyer. That's DRMDESTRYO. I cannot speak at the end of the show. We've been talking. Let me start again. DRMDESTRYR over at Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter. And also my health and fitness blog, rippedforblizzcon.weebly.com. And this week, we discussed the bench press.
Oh, the bench press. I need help with bench presses, even if it's, just some lightweight, somebody to spot me.
Well, that's where you start, man. You start light, and then each time you do it, you add just a little bit more weight, and eventually, you'll be able to do full push-ups, no problem.
Or pull-ups, that's even harder.
Oh, yeah.
Pull-ups are tough. But you know who's probably reading Rip for BlizzCon is Valeera. I mean, some of the sketches and stuff on the internet about her, I mean, she's ripped. She's, got that lean, rogue feel. She's ready to jump in there, agile and ripped.
Certainly, and I mean, I guess her time served as a gladiator probably set her in her ways. She was never gonna be the weak one ever again with her parents dead and sold into slavery.
Yeah, exactly. Are you not entertained?
Exactly.
Are you not
now,
entertained?
Does Valeera scream, "Are you not entertained?" after the smoke clears?
Absolutely.
I would love it if the smoke clears, all of the enemy heroes are dead, and she's just standing there screaming.
Maybe the specialty skin should have been like Maximus.
Mm.
And the specialty mount would be a chariot.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Just a plethora of ideas over here on HeroesForge. Love it. If you love the show and you'd like to support us, please head on over to patreon.com/HeroesForge. Throw us $1 or $2 over there, and we have some exclusive content just for Patreons coming in the way. Battleground forging, all this really cool ideas and stuff that we have over there. So head on over there to do that. Patreon.com/HeroesForge. All right, Kristen, this was a great episode. I had a blast. I think we're going to call it. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening, and we will see you all in the real world.